Sawadika. March the 25th. If you are an American citizen, I am an American citizen, as a matter of fact. Don't let anyone tell you that you are downtrodden. Okay, politics again. Go Napoleon. He's so political for a 1930s, 40s guy. We still live in the greatest country in the world. The United States is the great experiment in positive thinking. Our entire system of government is based upon faith in the inherent goodness of the individual. It is a revolutionary idea more than 200 years ago. It was a revolutionary idea, more than 200 years ago when the Declaration of Independence was first signed. Borrowing from the greatest thinkers in history, our founding fathers established a form of government of the people that is today the model most imitated around the world. Economic and political conditions ebb and flow, but as long as we have a democratic society that celebrates the individual, we can achieve anything in life we desire. All you require to be successful in the United States is the desire to achieve success, determination to stick with it until you reach your goals. Wow. I wonder what he would say if he was writing this book today. So I have a little bit different perspective than most Americans in that I live in Thailand now. I moved here a year ago, and you get a different world view if you're living in the world as opposed to living in America. In America, your view tends to be narrowed to America and how it's affected by the world. You know, the world view comes through American glasses or American eyes, and it's interpreted, as an American. And when you're out other places, you see things differently. You're okay. So I'm here, but now I'm over here. It looks different. I'm at a different angle, right? And here, it's a different angle, and like China is by far the number one nation in the world. And some of you are very pissed off that I said that, because being an American, you want America to be number one. And America was number one for many, many years. Frankly, China didn't have their shit together. and America was so big and so productive and had so much money. English is the international language of business, and it kind of, sort of still is. But when I moved here a year ago, I saw how more and more things are being, menus in restaurants, signs are being written in Chinese. Payment methods, Alipay, Alipay, which, of course we don't have in the States. It's big here in Southeast Asia. Who uses Alipay? Chinese. WeChat, right? That's a Chinese Facebook. So there's so many of them. Their military is the size of the American population, right? Every man, woman, and child in America, on a one-for-one basis, is the size of the Chinese military. That's a sobering thought. There's a lot of them, and because Americans and Europeans and Asians, Japanese, Thai people, Koreans, for years have been purchasing goods from China simply because they were cheaper. They've got all the money now. Like, they're richer as a nation than America is. Hell, I've heard some people suggest that Russia is number 2, China number 1 for sure. No argument there. And if you were here, you could see it. I know living in America, you don't understand. Right now, Chinese are buying up American farmland, but hundreds and thousands of acres at a time. It's happening, guys. Look in your own backyard. You don't even know what's happening. They're buying it up because it's cheap because of COVID. So the conspiracy theorists among us think that maybe that was on purpose, but either way, I'm buying as much as I can here because of COVID prices. They're buying as much as they can in America because of COVID prices. So they have the cash, they to capitalize on the lockdowns and the result of the lockdowns. Rich get richer, right? So, like I said, if you lived here, you'd understand what I mean. You could see the signs. The Chinese are definitely the #1 superpower now. And they've been planning that for a long time. Number two, is it America? Is it Russia? I really don't know. I mean, I would say America simply because most people still speak English here because they had for years. You know what I mean? And Russian isn't very popular as far as spoken. There's not that many Russian tourists. There's more American expat than Russian expat in Thailand now. We'll see. We'll see what happens how America fares in the next 4 to 8 years, and how Russia fares, right? Soviet Union. But definitely, without a doubt, China's #1. And do I feel good about saying that? No. Does it make me happy? No. I really do love my country, the country I was born in and lived in and raised in, and it makes me sad to see us, take a back seat to anybody, but that's the reality. So, part of the reason that's a reality is because the way he described America, which was the America I grew up in, right, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000 to 2010, that's what he was describing. And it is still a land of opportunity to the extent that, if you do the things that we talked about in this book, if you have a positive mental attitude, if you plan, if you take action, you can still make a lot of money. But there's people who don't want you to be able to do that. They sort of want all the money. Even though they have lots of money right now, they want it all. Bruce Springsteen, Badlands. Poor men want to be rich. Rich men want to be king, and the king ain't satisfied till he rules everything. Well, the kings of money, and you know their names, they've been around for hundreds of years, want all the money. They really do want to kind of kill free enterprise and the little guy. And ever since COVID, they've been very successful at that. The killing of the small business has been on an accelerated pace ever since first quarter 2020. Bars, restaurants, here, massage parlors, right? The ultimate mom and pop shop is a little massage parlor, small bar. There's tons of small bars in Thailand, not big, huge entertainment complexes, but small little bars, right? And hold 10 people. They're mostly all closed. They couldn't float being shut down for a year. How could you expect them to be? Meanwhile, 7-Eleven, owned by the Yum Corporation out of China. That's right. China owns KFC. China owns Taco Bell. Did you know that? Yeah, most people don't. So look it up. Yum. Y-U-M. Yum Corporation. China. They own 7-Eleven. And they're huge here. They're everywhere. They're ubiquitous. They're literally on every fucking street corner. They're all over the place like cockroaches, like Chinese people all over the place. Billions of them. Billions. So they got a shitload of 7-Elevens here, and they make a shitload of money off of like the hard-working Thai people. They go in there to buy their big Leo for 60 baht, and drink, because Thai people like to eat, but Thai people like to drink. And that's how the Chinese are making their money here from Thai people through the 7-Elevens, which are everywhere you go. So yeah, it's not what he described in the book anymore. And that, if I seem kind of down and kind of sad, it's because of that. It's because it's not reality. As I was reading that paragraph, I got nostalgic. And I think it's getting worse. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm just whatever doom and gloom guy. The sky is falling, but I honestly think it's going to get worse, not better, over the next 4 to 6 years, 8 years. We'll see how long she lasts. Today, with all the executive orders and everything the new president's been signing, and bombing Syria, which if you ask the people in the poll, do you support it? They'd say no. I don't think we have a democracy. You can't call 40 plus executive orders, which is the president, in my opinion, and in Joe Biden's opinion, when the other guy was in office, right, when we had Orange Man, Biden was a loud and vocal critic of executive orders, because it's, in my opinion, an abuse of the powers of the president. I don't think there should be an executive order except for rare emergencies. And the last 4 presidents, Democratic and Republican, used them sparingly. And old Joe came in the first week and cut like 40. He had an agenda, and I don't think that agenda helps the average American. Like closing the pipeline. That helps big business. It doesn't help Americans. So I don't think we have a democracy anymore, unfortunately, because we were absolutely the greatest country in the world. And I served believing in that country and believing in the ideals and principles. And I wouldn't serve today. I guarantee I would not serve like I did, because it doesn't represent those ideas anymore. It just doesn't. Our government is and has been for sale for a long time, and the Chinese are buying. They got the money, right? So sad, great white Buddha. Not very positive. Okay, I talked about pi being dead, and I said it will come back. Will America come back? God, I hope so. I really, really do hope it comes back, and it's like it was back in the day. The powers that be, the money guys, are like, no, this is the new normal. We're not going back. We're never going back to the way it was. If 330 million Americans stick their finger up and say, fuck you, rich boy, then it will go back to normal. But if you accept this new normal that they're trying to push on you for their own reasons, their own agenda, 2030 agenda, it's out there, Google it, then no, things are bad, and they're going to get worse. So we'll see. I'm sitting here in Thailand. I'm not sitting by the pool sipping mangoes yet, but I'm working on it. I got to go get my yellow book today, which shows that I own property here. That will make my future dealings with cars and bikes easier. So that's my mission today. Going to invest another 7,000 baht. So that's at 200 and change, $210, something like that, to get this little yellow book. And then once again, that should make the sailing smoother moving forward here with a Thai driver's license and a yellow book. That's pretty much your passport to any government function here. It makes things easier, because it shows that you live here permanently, basically, when you own property here and have a Thai driver's license. It shows you're in a different class from the backpackers who come for a couple months and then go home when they're broke, right? Well, that's it for today. Be good, and I really hope America comes back from the bottom of my heart. I honestly do.